Cool. Are we doing like a group roll for the searching, or are we
How does that work?
doing it individually, or?
So let's see. Traveling rolls. Have we never? I don't.
We've never done it.
No.
Okay.
We've never done it. We've always traveled through other means.
Yeah. So the game master determines the threat level of the area traversed by the group. See next page. We'll get to the next page. If more than a single threat level is present, apply the highest. Ooh. Then you perform a travel roll by rolling the die appropriate to the chosen threat level. On a D6, on a 6 or higher, you encounter danger. On a 1, you make an unexpected discovery. The game master, that's me, decides the location of each danger and discovery. If you need, mark its location on the map sheet. Yeah, it sounds like work we're not going to do right now, but you get the idea. Unless stopped by an encounter or by an encountered danger, the characters proceed to the next travel day or reach their destination. It's a little different here because you guys kind of want to stop and see if Wolf shows up at night. So that's a whole nother thing. So we can handle that. And they talk about, for simplicity, they should always be sort of rounded to the next whole day, things like that. So you're not tracking of like, wow, it was actually 3 o'clock when we stopped next. Like, don't do that. So, you guys are essentially in prairies. We go through the whole threat level. There's minimum, which is within a village, a city, or a guarded area. That's a travel roll of a D6, so only the 1 in 6 chance. A prairie, patrolled road, or countryside is a low threat level. That's what you guys are in now. So that's it. You roll a D8. There are forests, hills, and rivers. That's a medium threat level, and that is a D10. There are vast forests, mountains, open sea or swamps. That is a high threat level with a D12. And then there are deserts, frozen water, jungles, volcanoes. That's a very high threat level at a D20. Keep in mind, a 6 or higher is danger. You guys are in low danger, low stakes. You're not in the city, but you're, so yeah. Just, so I guess whoever, I don't know, whichever one of you guys wants to roll it.
Probably Gunnolf would be my vote.
No.
Gunnolf would probably be best.
Sure.
I don't know if he's like maximized
my
for it.
Roll20
I just
go.
think like narrative wise it makes sense.
I mean, once upon a time with one of my many builds, I had a special ability that made it so that I would make the die size smaller. But then I was like, no, I don't like that, and I reverted it to something else. It reverted to something else. So, ultimately, I'm saying is I don't have that, so I'm gonna just roll the D8.
The D8.
I have an ability that can automatically make us fail.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
To be clear, if you guys, so there are 2 circumstances where I would have you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there were 2. I am going to have you. Well, you could have stumbled upon the bramble if you had bumped into danger. They are like technically can be dangerous if you start messing with them. But you did not find any
Okay.
on the first day.
Bummer.
We would need to go off the beaten path to have a higher chance.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
All right.
Is this an example where you can roll a Fabula point to like re-roll it, or is it you just live with it?
You could always use a fabulous point. I'm not gonna stop you.
Do you want to, Doug? Or just want to let it rock?
I'll let it rock.
Okay.
Only a 1 in 6
It's
chance.
not like we're not gonna have an ability. We're not gonna lose the ability. Of course, Chris's ability, the lucky roll of 7. He can always pull it at any time.
Yeah.
But no, this is for everybody that is not in our roll 20. It was a 4.
Can you? Honest question, Chris. The way the ability is worded, I'm just curious. If you had to roll a d6, can you make the result 7?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to be sure that I think that is correct, but I find that humorous.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. So you guys travel. You keep an eye on the sort of river as kind of far away as it is. It's not hard for you guys to try to like spot essentially wild animals. You certainly see wild animals, like there's plenty of birds and little rabbits and stuff hopping out in the field and other things like that. You pass a couple farms, with some of their like own livestock or whatever. But eventually the sun starts to set, and it's getting real low, big guy, and you guys decide that you're probably going to pull off the road a little ways.
Probably far off into the wilderness, as far as we can get without it being like unreasonable. Like it would cost more time to travel back to the road.
Give me like a timetable.
Okay.
Like, how about how far off you're trying to go? Like an hour, 30 minutes off the trail? What do you?
I think honestly, an hour off the road in a cart is not far enough. So maybe 2.
The cart is also not going to be moving super well over the.
Precisely the reason why I said 2.
Yeah, that was my only concern. Yeah. Oh, but that's to your point. You're like, yeah, we need to spend a lot of time because it's going to be very slow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
As long as
Jason,
Jason, as long as we deem that like it's safe, we're not gonna like force it. If it's like, well, you're gonna get stuck, it's like we probably wouldn't risk that. We try to find another way around or something.
It's plains. It's not like it's like tangled roots and rocks and bullshit everywhere.
I mean, you might end up bumping into rocks or like I guess. Mud is probably a bigger issue potentially, as you guys are roughly close to a river, and there are like farms and they irrigate or whatever. But if you guys go off the beaten path, I'm gonna like roll a d20 here, and I think your odds are pretty low. Okay. So of something like that happening,
then we'll get a broken wagon axle. Then we'll get dysentery.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly.
No.
Suffice to say, going off the beaten path. You don't run into any problems of any kind. Yep. Pretty simple night. So you guys decide to set up camp, kind of relax a little bit. Although, it might matter. So as you guys sort of wind down for the evening, let's go through like rest and kind of camping abilities and things like that.
Sure. I mean, actually, I was actually gonna ask if now would be a decent time for a little sword training lesson with Steve, so I could use my other camping ability that lets me pick up a skill from somebody.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. I guess we could roleplay it out too, because I like that. Okay. So as we're kind of set up in the camp, I assume, do we have like a campfire or something?
I assume you guys have a campfire.
We get a campfire. Do we have any camping stuff, like tents or whatever? Or are we just sleeping under the open sky?
I suppose that's up to you guys. I assumed you guys had bought all of the necessary material.
Okay, well, whatever. Where's Steve on the
Tents
camp?
are, I think, 4 inventory points.
Oh my god. Okay. So
I just curl up into a ball and hide underneath the wagon.
So we arrived. I'm probably by the fire, heating up some hot water because I probably have a little bit of a headache from this very excellent booze from earlier today.
Yeah. I got a heal ability for myself, so I'm actually doing okay.
Oh, great.
And I kind of want to mosey down over. You're sitting.
Yep. Just
I plop down next to you in the trampled grass, and I go, "Hey, Steve, you're like an elder, right?"
Like an elder? I don't know where this is going.
Like, you very experienced. My great grandfather Ursir, very, very wise, experienced, knowledgeable person, also very good fighter. And you tell many stories about your past experiences. I was wondering if you could help me. I was thinking, you made all great points about how I may not always be safe for me to be my kin spirit's form when combat arises, conflict happens, and I want to be able to help in a physical fashion when things like that happen. Even if I can't, become the big strong bird. So I was hoping you could help teach me some stuff. You seem pretty good with that sword, I think you called it.
I am pretty good with the sword. Interesting story. And he's just eating this up, right? He's so happy to be able to share this. Before I got my magic powers and the Dawn Feather, I was a pretty accomplished fighter. Part of the town guard, and to be between you and me, I was kind of too good for the guard. That's kind of what led to everything happening. Just always kind of been a natural fighter. But I also became a teacher. So basically what I'm saying is there is nobody on this earth or the earth I come from, either earth, who's better at teaching you the basics of swordplay than yours truly.
Wow. So you are like an elder. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to use that term, maybe. Just master is, I think, a term I prefer.
Okay. All right. Master. Very cool. So lots of people learn the sword where you are come from?
They do. They try, but it takes the right teacher, because everybody wants to teach the flashy moves, how to strike fast, kill before the other person can react, and it sounds good in theory, but that's not what's going to keep you alive in the long term. Wrong style, wrong things to focus on.
Did you have a teacher, Steve?
I kind of grew up on my own, so a little bit of teaching here and there, but a lot of it was self-taught. What I learned along the path.
Maybe that is why you are so good, because you taught yourself things that nobody else could teach you.
I think so, and then when I put it into a curriculum and mixed it with magic, it really forced me to break it down and figure out what the style is and all the different components.
Okay. I don't really understand all that quite yet. Do you mind showing me? She doesn't have a sword or anything, but she's like, would like to try to learn some things.
Absolutely. No time better than the present to start. So let's see here, and basically I'm going to try to find, I'm not just going to hand you my sword. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. You know what I might do? I might give you, because I'm thinking I give you like a stick. We don't have like a wooden sword, I am sure, in the wagon. I don't think we have that. I might give you like the sheath of my sword, because that's going to be better.
You could spend an inventory point if you wanted to have thought to buy one, but sure.
Gosh, I don't want to game it. Would I have thought to buy one? Because we haven't talked about this, have we yet, Kestrel, or did we?
We haven't talked about it. We've talked about you guys teaching me stuff. I have been very excited about you teaching me to do swordplay, but I mentioned it in passing in sort of the way I mentioned, can Rosalind teach me to gamble?
Oh,
you know, Myru taught me to dance. Albus had taught me right then, it was really early in the campaign, to throw the dagger, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, this was a while ago.
I was excited, and I was like, you could teach me to use the sword or whatever, but it was a kind of a passing conversation.
I mean, you could say, like, as we were going through the shops, you just see a wooden sword and you're like, oh yeah, Kestrel mentioned wanting to learn. Maybe I should pick this up.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of believable.
Yeah.
I think it's believable.
It's inventory points are kind of written in the way that you absolutely thought of this before setting out on the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just so happen to have a sword.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to say what is nice about this wooden sword is it's weighted in a way that is more similar to an actual sword. That's why that's better than just some stick or anything else. And I'm going to hand it to you. What you feel there is it's going to be heavier than you were expecting when you see me or other people with a sword. Hopefully, if they're good, it makes it look effortless. It's not. The sword has its own weight, its own balance. It needs to be heavy enough to reinforce the cut, but not so heavy that you can't wield it. So move that around, feel it a little bit.
Yeah, as you hand it into me in my hands, the wood cut, the heavy like length of it kind of like tips forward in my hands.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
and I give it a few practice swings. It kind of looks more like I'm swinging a baseball bat than I'm actually
Yeah.
swinging a sword.
Yeah, so this is
and I
fine
go,
to
like-
get the feel of it, but you don't want to be swinging it like that, ultimately. So you want to make sure your grip is good. You would think it's heavy, so you got to grip it really tight. You don't want to. There's a sweet spot. Grip it like a bird, and I do the whole thing. And then I just say, and get used to the edges. Be very aware of them. This is a dangerous weapon, and it's as like early on to cut you as it is to cut your enemy. So be safe, treat it with respect. With the training swings that I'm going to have you do, you're going to get really comfortable with handling it the right way.
Okay, how's the wood gonna cut though?
Yeah, it's not, and that's the idea. So you're going to get comfortable with the moves first, and the way I'm going to teach you is a more defensive stance. So, like I said, you're going to be tempted to want to learn the flashy offensive moves, and that's going to look cool, and it's going to kill you. We're going to teach you the defensive moves, how to use your enemy's weight against them, how to block their attack, counter, and parry. Use their own weight, for your advantage. So that's the mode that we're going to do. So that's the moves I'm going to be teaching you.
Okay, all right. You know a lot about this.
Well, like you said, I'm an elder, so I've had some time to get good, and really perfect what I think is the best way to teach it, and the best mode, which is defensive, not offensive, that's going to keep you alive.
Okay. Are you gonna show me like practice swings, or are you gonna or is it like I'm going to like try to do stuff in a sort of semi live, like you're gonna bat my sword around or whatever, but like not do it in earnest? Like,
yeah,
what does it look like?
Well, and I'm actually going to teach you some you're going to maybe regret that you asked me, because what I'm going to want to do is teach you a bunch of swings that I'm going to want you to repeat many times, and I'm going to teach you like defensive stances, like certain footwork and movements that are going to really reinforce this defensive posture and approach. So like certain footprint, you get what I'm saying. So I'm probably not even gonna do the batting the sword, not yet. You're gonna be really wax on, wax off movements for a while.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jason, should I roll to see how well I'm getting this?
Yeah. Let's do a roll.
Okay. What would you like me to roll?
Ooh. Let's see here. What is that like? Insight. Willpower, maybe?
Yeah.
That sounds about well. There's muscle memory involved in this, yeah. So maybe we do like willpower. But you're learning from him. There's too many things here. I want might to be one of them, because you're trying to get muscle memory down. Because you've got scrying arms.
For my 2 cents, Jason, willpower would actually not be bad, because it's like the same movement over and over and over again, and she's probably gonna want to give up. Hands are probably gonna start to blister a little bit.
Okay.
She might get
So
bored.
might and willpower.
Might.
Let's do some might and willpower.
All right.
Well,
Might and willpower.
Sean, make me a similar roll to see if you can beat 10 to assist her.
Okay.
To see if you have enough willpower to teach this kid.
Yeah.
Strike her down.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Wait, so
come
is
at
mine-
you with everything I.
Might and willpower.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
I am not getting this at all.
Let me roll. God,
Fabula.
my first roll of the day.
Should I use the Fabula point for learning to use the sword? All right, I'll use the damn Fabula point.
And the same might willpower.
Yeah.
Well, now I have 0 Fabula points, which is fine because I'll get 1 at the start of next session, and I will do that again.
He is loving this.
Oh man, yeah.
He's having the time of his
yeah.
effing life.
You will have a +1. Well, actually, what's the?
Oh, there you go.
There you
Yeah, what's the
go.
strength
There
of
you
your bond?
That's
actually,
better.
Oh yeah, what is the strength?
Oh.
It's there.
yeah, man.
do we have a bond?
That's
Because I don't think we have one yet.
We've had so many opportunities, and I actually don't think we have done it yet.
Well, we could use this camping activity to form one. in
Certainly,
theory.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
For those watching, Maya's first roll was a 3 and a 1 for 4. Sean, the ever enthusiastic teacher, was a 7 and an 8 for 15.
Nice.
And after the Fabula point, Maya rolled a 10.
Yeah.
Which is bumped up to
12?
let's say an 11.
Oh, okay.
It was 12.
12, right?
Okay.
'Cause, like 2, because
Yeah.
of the... I don't know how it works. I thought it was like, it's like more than one if it's high enough.
That was plus 1 per...
Per 3?
Per 2 over 10.
Per 2?
Oh,
Okay.
this is true. It was 2 over 10. So, or 13 specifically, I think. Two successes over? Doesn't matter. You passed anyway
Great.
with your 10. But you don't need to know.
Wonderful.
You got help. You got help to do it as well.
I got helped.
You
by a
didn't
very
need it, but
enthusiastic,
you got help.
a very enthusiastic master.
Yeah.
But yes, so yeah, I mean, but you are not using this rest activity to gain one of his skills. You're using it to, or you are using it to gain one of his skills, and
I
to
And
build a bond.
I'm building a bond also. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I guess the real question is, Sean, which skill are you training her in?
Yeah. What are you giving me?
God, I don't have very many. So, when we say skills, is that
Mhm.
like what does that include?
Any of your what weapon master skills do you
Well,
have,
because
for
so
example?
one
Or
of the-
guardian
uh,
skill.
Or guardian.
So guardian, like for example, fortress, she can just increase her HP. So that's one. I also have bodyguard, which you don't want to use without protect. So let's forget about that one. And then protect. When another creature is threatened, you may take their place. I've used it enough. Yeah, you guys know what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I feel like
That's a really
the
solid
most
one.
thematic appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
that's the best one.
So if that's the case, similar to some of the other things, you get essentially one use of protect if you want.
All right. I will take one use of protect, please.
Oh, like per
Yeah.
battle or like period?
Per day.
Oh, per day. Oh,
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
that's pretty good
Cool.
actually.
That's really cool.
There's a similar thing that they had where like you could teach a spell to somebody. I've just decided it's cooler if you guys can just give her a level 1 skill for a day as well. It's
Yeah,
the same
thank you.
equivalent.
Yeah.
So-
Cool.
Yeah, so I would
All right.
I would just by the end of the day say like, you know, the strength we can work on it. As far as swinging the sword, you're getting used to it. The footwork, I am impressed. You're moving great. You're really picking it up. Now I'm gonna give you a regimen so that all of a sudden, hopefully, the goal will be. Moving this thing around is going to start to feel very natural, very good, both the strength and the form. And when you get strong enough, we'll let you start swinging a real sword. And then you're going to get used to the metal. I'm going to trust you to be careful with it. We'll get there. But I'm impressed. You've done great today.
Thank you. Thank you. Lots. Whew, she's kind of like, you know, a little exhausted, a little winded, you know, and she goes, lots to learn though. I have to make time for my reading and now the sword every day. You said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lots to think about, but it's very helpful.
The secret.
And you're
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
I'm going to
just
tell you the
going
secret.
to say,
The secret is going to
You-
be you're going to do the alphabet and run through your letters while you're swinging the sword. That's the goal.
oh, okay. It seems complicated.
Hey.
I
Yeah,
cannot
exactly.
wait for her inevitable like attacks to be like ABC. Like she swings her attack.
I'm like Zorro, and I'm just going.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
In it. Yeah, except for it's a K.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a K. Yeah,
K for
exactly.
Kestrel.
I do JKL.
Watch me spell my name, Bo.
Ah.
And I'm going. I look at. He seems to be in a very enthusiastic, happy mood. I'm like, you seem to be enjoying this a lot. Did you enjoy helping me with this?
When I started the school, it was maybe a vanity project. Me wanting to get more sword mages into the world to be like me, and also just to spread the art. And then when I started it, I realized I really loved teaching, and I didn't think I would, because I was kind of self-centered for a long time. But I really found a calling in getting to help others and teach, and so suffice to say, I very much enjoyed today.
Okay. I'm glad. Do you... Oh, and I kind of think about it for a moment after all the times he's told me he's from another world, and I'm like, I don't really know what to think about that. I'm like, do you still talk to your old students?
We kept in touch, for sure. In later years, I make an occasional appearance, but I don't know. I felt like at some point I needed to pass it on to the next generation, and being there was taking opportunities and attention away from those who had earned it. So, recently I had stepped away a bit, but I do keep in touch with them. My favorite student, one of my best friends ever, his name is Mizagi. He was once I think he was a goblin, actually, right, Jason? Goblin?
Yep.
Goblin. And everybody, in my world, goblins predisposed to sort of being troublemakers, being evil, but not Mizagi. He showed me what was capable of and why it's important to not judge a book by its cover. And he became my best student. He inherited all of my skills, and one of my very best friends and allies in the big war that we fought. Without him, I don't know that we were successful. So yeah, we keep in touch very much.
And I kind of tilt my head, and I'm like, which war?
Oh God, the one with the big god, the demon lord, when he was trying to...
Pride! I kind of volunteer, actually, because I'm relating it to our world.
Probably similar, yeah. He was trying to retain his power, and the other gods weren't able to do anything to stop him, so they recruited me and my group. More from my group than me, but I played my part, certainly. And we were able to help stop his rise and vanquish him, seal him away.
I narrow my eyes a little skeptically at him. All of his stories are so grandiose. It's very hard to believe, and it's hard to believe he came from a different world. And I just say, Steve, it's very hard for me to believe that you came from another world. I don't mean to be mean. I am only just now seeing my own world. It's hard to believe there's a whole other one out there somewhere. Do you... And she holds out her hand. She invites him to kind of show her some of just to verify the validity of it.
Yeah.
Like, could you show me?
Yeah, the interesting thing about Orcus and the war that he brought was he recruited an army, and a part of that army was giants. And at one point, they all marched on the city that we created, we developed out of nowhere. Name was Horizon. And the fear that we felt on that day, trying to protect this last stand of the city, is what I will try to convey to you now. And I'll reach out my hand.
Okay. All right.
Jason, I don't know if this is going to work because of the whole otherworld, complicated, weird colored spirit thing, but I'm going to try.
What can I divine from Steve?
Both of you roll me like a double willpower check here.
Okay. I guess I got a custom.
Yeah.
You got a custom roll it.
Do if you want, do willpower insight.
Yeah,
I think that's
what
what
we've done historically for this.
Let's do that. Yeah. You're kind of do something new, but let's do willpower insight. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, 12.
Mm-hmm. And
11.
11.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
And
Mhm.
okay. So, yeah, transferring memories isn't really something that this is designed for, as much as like feelings or vibes, and as much as like Kestrel, you can sort of welcome people in, doesn't necessarily work the other way. At least not without some very serious practice on the part of the other person, usually if they are familiar with the art of how to do this as well. Which is to say that this works to probably about as much success as you could realistically have anticipated. You do feel, maybe not genuine fear, but you feel the memory, the feeling of the memory. You feel as though you are remembering something, and obviously you don't have the memories, but you think you can feel yourself as though you're thinking back to a moment that you were afraid not just for your life, but for all these other people, it's a feeling that you're not unfamiliar with yourself in your own personal life. And in this way, you are able to understand that, well, you certainly can't confirm that Steve comes from another world or any of that stuff. At the very least, once in his life, he felt like he could lose his entire world. And I mean that in like the metaphorical state, that everything he could have known and all the people he could have cared about might have once been lost to him. And in that way, you find a semblance of understanding and empathy with Steve, where you have felt very much like that in your time. And no matter what crazy story or situation may have caused Steve to feel that way, at one point in time, he genuinely did. And you know that.
And I was going to say, Jason, the other part of it is like she, as far as the vibe check, maybe she can't see like the memory, but she should be able to like inter like the genuine, like the sincerity. Like,
the sincerity,
I'm
which was going to be my question.
Clearly lying.
If he is lying, if he is not aware of it. He firmly believes all of this through and through. This is as real to him as your life is to you. So make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I pull my hand away eventually from that, and I kind of look at him, and there's a little bit of awe almost in that expression, because, like, yes, this is a feeling that I have felt, but I felt his sincerity, and in this moment, it really occurs to me that, man, he must have really been through some shit, and everything he's been telling me, at least he firmly believes genuinely happened. And I look up at him and I'm like, wow, Steve, so you really did all those things? You were like an old hero?
An elder?
Old
An ancient hero?
Ancient hero? Yeah. We certainly tried. We tried to do what we could to bring about the world that we wanted. A lot of the stories that I've told, for obvious reasons, they're of the good times. There were plenty of bad times too, and it was not always a grand adventure. There were some real significant dark moments and downsides, and I lost a lot of people I cared about. But yeah, it was all true.
Well, I'm sorry I doubted you.
That's okay.
My people have a great many stories of tragedy, much like the ones that you have spoken of as well. Maybe one day I will tell you about them, and our old hero Dracus. And for another time, though, but I do want to just say, yes, I am sorry for doubting you.
I appreciate it. No offense taken. When I tell the stories, I'm aware. Part of the fun that I have with it is I know it sounds unbelievable and completely out of nowhere. And I feel like the more I try to be honest, the more nonsensical it sounds. But I enjoy it, so no need to be sorry. And I would love to share more stories if you're interested in the future, and certainly to
Absolutely.
hear your lore as well. This Dracus sounds incredible. I'm excited to learn about him.
Oh yes, in my culture, storytelling very important. My great-grandfather is like spiritual leader of the Grove. Ursier, he is our story keeper. So story is very important, and I would love to hear all of yours and share with you some of mine.
I love that, and I agree. Storytelling. That's actually what I'm doing. Marla was my betrothed, my great love, and when she passed, she had 7 great deeds that she was tasked with in her life, and they're all captured in this notebook that I carried with me. And I am working on the 7th. She completed 6. She's 1 short, and it's my goal to accomplish that for her, and then finish her story.
What about your story, though, Steve?
I don't know. I feel I learned at one point that I thought I was the hero, and I learned that I was just a supporting cast. The story wasn't really about me, and that was painful at first, but I grew to accept it and even relish it. I like that role, and I think I fit it pretty well.
Well, I think it has made you very humble. You say you were very selfish, perhaps, in your youth. And I think that has made you a good person. But my great-grandfather has a saying. He says that our stories are only ever finished once we run out of things we want to say. So, I think if you still have things you wish to say with your story, Steve, then it will continue.
I like that. I'm gonna take that to heart. I've been thinking lately, I became so certain that my story was over, and this whole journey and my experiences have really made me think maybe there is more to tell.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. And when I learn to read, I'm gonna read your book.
Okay. That's a deal. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay.
And your sword training regimen.
And so much to do. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Great.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna pencil you in admiration, Steve Bond.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. I think probably admiration. I'm very impressed with how well you picked up the swordplay. And also, pretty wise words from Miss Kestrel, too.
Okay.
The skeleton man did say she was wise.
He did.
Vulture, that's what it is, not a skeleton.
Skeleton.
Not skeleton. Well, he was kind of skin and bones.
Sorry.
What were you seeing?
I don't know. I was hallucinating the shit.
That's true. Sharp was drunk.
I was drunk and high.
Yeah.
Drunk high?
Yeah, when I guess I have 2 questions. What's everybody else doing? That's I guess the first one here. What's everyone else doing with their night? Resting activities, things of the sort. What are you guys up to?
I have a resting activity.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is gathering. So I roll a d6, look for ingredients in the area, describe how, then roll a 1d6. So I just kind of assume while they're doing their swordplay stuff, I'm just kind of moseying around, kind of getting the feel of the environment around us, just kind of see if it's safe, and to also keep my eye out for anything that I might find.
Okay.
Now the problem with this is that if I roll a 1, we have an easy conflict.
Oh.
That's fine.
So
Do it.
I can chalk that up to being like I run into like a wild boar out in the woods and I have to
Find
fight
out.
it off. But we'll have to find out. So I'm gonna roll. 5.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Looks tasty.
Tasty. Target receives 3 ingredients with random tastes. So let's see what the first one is. One is, I think it's bitter. 6 is anything of my choice. And 5 is umami. Bitter, umami, and I suppose sweet is what I'm missing. Bitter, umami, and sweet. All right. Do you want to describe what I find, or would you like me to?
I suspect you find some mushrooms for your umami, something bitter. You probably find some wild berries, and something sweet. You find a small, like apple tree, still growing.
Oh,
up
nice.
there. It doesn't really. It's not very big yet. It's maybe like the first batch of apples. They're a little on the small side, but they're doing their best. You know.
They're doing their thing.
Mhm.
Cool. That's my activity. I'm out wandering in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
It's a woods wanderer.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Sharp is kind of just like daydreaming, sort of like, obviously thinking about the question that she had about Leopold and all of that, but also just like really taking in like the food and the all of those like sensations, and almost kind of like reminiscing about what those may like bring back to before she died. So she's probably just like hanging out near the fire and just like staring at the fire and thinking.
Okay.
Is you have daydream as a camp activity, or
Yeah, I think she does.
Oh,
yeah,
thank
her
God.
and Sean usually do. Yes. I'm pretty sure you and Sean have both been using Daydream most of this time.
Okay,
for
I
your
was like, I'm
activity.
pretty
Yes.
sure that's the one that I use a lot, and then I like totally forget.
You probably go through some of your basic, like, kind of daily, like, I don't know, maybe you clean your gun, make sure it's in working order, things like that. As
Yeah.
You're just sort of sitting by the fire and... Okay. Rosalind?
Well, we had to go off the beaten path, so I can't rip people off of their money, which we desperately need.
You're, like, out there gambling with a raccoon,
Right.
like...
Give me your acorns.
Pay up, bitch! And he's like, shakes his head and runs off. I'm like, oh. So my only other option is planning. What I think I'm going to do, barring approval, is, since she's off sword training, is spend this time to make like a little alphabet grid. So here's an uppercase A, lowercase a, and a little picture of an apple. Because Rosalind can draw okay. Uppercase B, lowercase b, here's banana. Uppercase C, lowercase c, here's curiosity. Oh, fuck. Cross that one out.
Oh no!
So we'll just have like a basic grid of the letters, upper and lowercase, and then some kind of image that represents them. So that the next time she does a check to see how well she's picking it up, she gets a +4 to it.
Okay.
Yay. It's so nice. Thank you, Rosalind. I don't see you doing this maybe necessarily because I'm sword training, but
And she will not be excited when she finds out you're supposed to be swinging a sword while you're doing your training, but we'll get to that another time.
A is for apple.
So wait,
I do find it
he
humorous,
wants
though,
you to
that you're gonna
swing
get-
your sword the whole time you're trying to learn, and she would like point at Gunolf, started teaching you your name before he even taught you the letters?
It's gonna be funny when you get to B and you don't know what a banana is.
Yeah.
So
Thank
You've
God my
never seen
adopted
one.
parents gave me some education. And then she's going to strengthen her bond with Neravine.
okay. Oh, that's true. Sharp, is there anybody that you wanted to strengthen your bond with while you're here? It can even be Leopold if you wanted to think about all that.
Oh right. Let me see.
Or like you could do one with Kestrel to reflect earlier in the day. Choice is yours, but you also can strengthen a bond or create one while you're doing your activity.
It's true. I did help Sharp get drunk.
Oh, that's true. But
It doesn't really matter, but there was an admiration bond or an affection bond with Neravine, and now there's a loyalty one. And to go back, what is now 4 episodes, I did put inferiority as the bond with Kestrel, so we'll see what that means down the road.
Oh, cool. Love that.
I think, yeah, she would feel a sense of like affection towards Kestrel. Like, I think that there's just like a deeper connection that's building there with me sharing the vanilla and the peach, and her sharing like the flavors of the food and those experiences. I think I do affection adding to Kestrel.
Okay. Albus, I should have asked you as well. Was there anybody that you wanted to increase or create a bond with? I recognize you're just sort of out gathering, but just as the totality of your day.
With
I have a question.
with the god.
Mushrooms.
That was my question. Can I form a bond with a god?
You can. Any
Okay.
group or place or like people. Yeah.
And I love the idea of like calling on the god of feasts to
Yes.
like re-roll something or whatever.
Yep. That's
That's
what I
cool,
want to do.
actually.
I want
Yeah.
to form an admiration bond with the god of feasts.
You can absolutely do that. In fact, I suspect most clerics have such a bond.
It was nice is
Because
they don't even have to
I
be
had such a
reciprocated.
fun
You
time
can just,
cooking food.
Yeah.
you can just do them.
In fact, if you could grow to hate your god if you wanted to, that is always an option.
You can flip it. You can
If
modify.
he spoils my food, I might.
The first time a new recipe doesn't come out as planned. That's it.
We're done.
You!
Okay.
All right.
Steve, did you increased yours with Kestrel? Right?
I did. Yep.
Okay, so then Gunolf, what are you up to, sir?
Well, I would first for camp activity. I would like to do the midnight oil, of course, because we can't forge yet. And I would put 4 points into a mysterious project for one person in our group.
Wow.
Okay.
And while doing so, seeing what Rosalind's got going on, this is with what she's putting like together with the letters and everything. Realizing that we're both working for the same person, I just kind of have a kind of a side conversation about Kestrel. And yeah, if you're up for it, Chris.
Sure.
All right. It's like, hey, I hope you don't mind, but I kind of like to talk while I work, and I was just hoping that while you were working on the letters for teaching and everything, I was hoping we could talk a little bit about Kestrel.
What's on your mind?
Well, I don't know. It's like maybe it wasn't the right time for it or whatever, but a couple of days ago, I just kind of I came clean and I was like, hey, you know, I just told you about the whole thing with my hand and how it's proceedingly getting worse, and I imagine that it'll cover my whole body here sooner or later. I don't know entirely. It was like, I don't know, just a few hours earlier than I talked to you. I also talked to Kestrel about it, and in that same conversation, I also said that I kind of liked her, and I don't know. I part of me was like, was that the worst time to do it? Because it's like you just dropped these 2 bombshells, and I don't know. She reminds me to to stay hopeful, and that's what endeared me to her. But it's kind of like when I just say on one hand, "Hey, I'm dying," and "Hey, I like you." What kind of nonsense goes into a person's head with that? I don't want to seem like I'm being manipulative and saying, "Hey, I like you. By the way, I'm dying, so hopefully you like me too."
I think you might be overthinking this a bit. I think your heart's in the right place, don't get me wrong, but she just had cooked food for maybe the first time today. She's seeing the world for the first time. There's a lot of things she's experiencing for the first time. I don't even know if she understands the idea of you liking her, let alone any other baggage that might have come with it. I think you're going to have to be patient on this one and let her feel her way out through this. I know patience is something... Well, I mean, you're good at being patient overall, but I know you're on a borrowed time in a sense, so it feels like go, 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 but I think with her, some caution is going to be helping you out in the long run.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on Kestrel?
I think if we have any chance of succeeding in what we're hoping to do, it's going to be because of her. That we all bring something to the table, that we all help in a meaningful way. We've seen that now put to the test over the past few days. Like, I'm not saying that we're all useless, but I said as much to her last night. There's something different with her. We reached the end of the playlist. There's no music. It's very distracting.
Oh wow! There's no more peaceful.
Yeah. Peaceful is dead.
It got to it like a heavy
Tense.
Right.
conversation.
Yeah, the night air
Too
grows
tense.
long and silent.
The raccoon comes for revenge. I think it's weird for me to say this as the only person who hasn't swapped blood with her yet, but I think because her intentions are so pure, she's different than almost anybody else out there. And it's her intent and her will to see it through that is almost what separates her more than whatever ability she has that can make her a bird or a psychic or I don't... Those things are all unusual. Those are things I've never seen before, but the last 24 hours have given me reason to start thinking all sorts of things are possible. It's why I went along with the Vulture's idea of some kind of egg and swirly patterns and future reading. Probably wouldn't have done that before yesterday, and today it's like, well, that's not even the weirdest thing I've seen recently, so sure, why not?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we're having this talk. It's like, it's, I mean, yeah, you're helping me realize that, you know, I am maybe overthinking it, and that, yeah, she does bring that something extra to our group. That it feels like with her on our side, we're bound to succeed, one way or another, and that with the joy that I see every time she is introduced to something new, and just it reminds me of the time when I first learned it. It's like, wow, that's what I was like back then, and it almost feels like you take it for granted now, but it's like it really is amazing when you dial everything back, because all she's known is the jail cell and then the Grove,
Right.
and now she gets to see all these things, and it's just kind of reminds me of that we're blessed.
And she clearly likes you. I don't know about likes you, but as extroverted as she is, she seems willing to go up and talk to almost anybody, sometimes to our own detriment, but she spends more time with you than anybody. I would just advise you to take it slow. because she's learning a whole lot about everything around her all at once. And it would be easy for that to get lost in the shuffle if you push it too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the person who likes to take
What-
risks, so if I'm telling you to be cautious,
Mm-hmm. I should learn how to gamble from you sometime. That'd be fun.
everybody seems to want to do that these days. I'm not sure why.
Group gambling.
You seem really good at it, and everybody seemed to be really lucky with you. So,
Lucky in the small ways, unlucky in the big ones.
well, yeah. About Myru, yeah. But at this point, that's in the past, and right now, without even her around, or we don't have a path to see any way of bringing back our Myru that we grew to know in like the 3 or 4 days traveling from Roulette. But I there's a part of me that it's like we need to do what we can about Myru and bring her back from what appears to be this curiosity that is just taking over so many. Like, we look left and right, curiosity is seemingly upping their game and making their move.
My hope is that, well, I'm not looking forward to the next time we cross paths with her. If it's anything like what I saw yesterday, I don't think we're going to take kindly to her presence. But the thing I keep telling myself to try to give me some kind of hope is if we can figure out how to stop curiosity, we ideally loosen the hold or break the hold on her and anybody else who's been afflicted by it. So it may not be trying to solve it for her. There may not be anything we can do for her specifically, but if curiosity is as pervasive as it seems to be, maybe we go to the root of it. Maybe that's an impossible task or too big for us, but at least that's something where I have, like, steps of a plan. I don't know what the steps are, but at least I can look at that and go, it's a goal.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad we had this talk.
I'm glad, even though I know, I mean, you've confided in me that things are getting even worse, so I know it's tough to say, slow down, but even as fast as things are spreading, you have time. We're going to try and find more of it, but be patient with her, that's all.
Yeah. And all of that was a roundabout way of me getting a bond with Rosalind of admiration.
Okay. Well, I guess my final question is, Kestrel, as you and Steve head back to camp, how do you guys go? Do you guys walk back together? Do you walk back separate?
Uh-oh.
We walked back together. Yeah, we had a nice chat. We
See
were
ya.
we were vibing together.
Smell you later.
Built up
so-
a sweat.
Maya, roll me a d6.
Okay.
This is a wolf check.
Oh,
Slash.
But like actual wolves, not your brother.
Just dog, just
Yeah, they can just grab her leg and just drag her off.
There you go. I gave you a 5.
Okay. So that you guys have a pretty nice night on the road. There's no sightings of wolf, unfortunately. It's a rather quiet night. Not quite a full moon. Almost. Would it be it's like a, was it so waning? Waxing? Hold on. Waning is going away, so it's a waxing moon. So it's coming up. But no sightings so far. At least not this half a day on the road. Even as far as you guys are. Pretty decent night's sleep. as far as anything goes, you guys should be rested and refreshed come tomorrow. With that, we'll put a close to the day and tonight's session. But before that, we'll sort of take the scene over to the Panseer. Where, as the Bonnie is sort of grabbing a couple things and putting them away. They're sort of cleaning up the room that the Panseer is in, and he's in there helping her as well. And she sort of gives him a bit of a bow and says, "Okay, sir, everything is put away. So we're good to go for tonight and to lock up. Is everything all right?" And he goes, "Yes, honey. Thank you so much for your time today. You did good." And she nods and she goes, "Okay, sir. I'll see you tomorrow." And he, yes, bright and early. And she goes, "Well, yes, sir. And she goes to leave, and then she kind of stops for a second, and she goes, "I'm sorry, sir. I know it's not my business or anything. But if I can ask, well, why did you let them? You didn't charge those kind folks from earlier. It's not usually how we handle things, and I don't want to question your wisdom or anything of the sort. This is your business and all. And he sort of he kind of kind of cocks his head a little bit. He's like, but you're wondering why?" And she goes, "I'm sorry, sir. I shouldn't have said anything. It's okay. I apologize." And she kind of goes to like bow her head and kind of go to leave, and he just sort of goes, "Oh, it's fine, Bonnie. It's fine. The truth of the matter is, from what I've seen, I suspect that if those kind folks are not successful, there'll be no more Panseer anymore, or any of Lighthaven. Come light of it. No cost would be worth giving them the beginning of their journey that they need. At least we can do for them, for what they will see in their road ahead." And she kind of sits on his words for a second and goes, I understand, sir. Well, thank you for letting me be a part of it then." And he gives her a nod and goes, "Thank you for doing your part as well. Run along. Have a good night." "Yeah, yes, sir. She kind of nods and leaves and stuff. And he just sort of claps his hands and looks at the table where you guys all met and whatnot and just nods his head. And he goes, "I wish you all luck. You will need it." And that's where we'll end the session.
Woo.
Cool.
And we get a fabulous
See,
point for
he's
introducing
totally
a villain.
trustworthy.
Yep, exactly.
He's totally trustworthy.
Sean Connery.
or Sharp paid for the meal, or
Yeah, exactly.
Leopold.
I suppose, as a point of order, even though it's better just to end of the story, but I am going to spend the 4 IP. We are required to spend the points to have a full
camp.
rest. If
Oh,
we're
to
traveling.
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must have a
it's 4
tent
IP.
or some other. If we can find like a safe crypt or something like we've cleared out, or like there's other ways to do it. But if we're out on the road, we have to spend inventory points to have a tent. Otherwise, we can't get a full rest. So I subtracted them from me.
I was going to say, I think one person needs to do it for everybody.
I believe so.
Yes,
wrong?
it's allow the entire group to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah, only one person needs to do it. Yeah.
Just as a point of order, since I know some people are watching this just excited to see Fabula actually played, that is a thing you have to do. You can't just camp indefinitely.
Oh.
Yes, this is true. I should have mentioned it when Doug had mentioned the spending it for 4 earlier.
Yeah.
But
So
yes.
that's all dealt with.
Yeah.
We have now rested, and we can pick up next time bright and early in the morning.
Bright and early the next morning. Mhm.
Yay.
Bright and bunny tailed.
Yes. Bonnie tail.
Bushy-tailed?
Yeah. Bushy
Bonnie
bonny tail.
Bonnie tailed. Oh
Bonny tail.
god.
Okay.